ever pondered how much the decisions of political leaders shape the course of a nation's development? Think about it. The history of any country is, in many ways, the collective biography of its leaders. Their decisions, their policies, their actions, all leave indelible imprints on the nation's development trajectory. Consider this. The leaders of the past have navigated uncharted waters, steering their nations through periods of change, uncertainty, and opportunity. Their legacies are not just confined to their tenure, they reverberate through time, influencing the course of their nations long after they've left the political stage. For instance, think about leaders who have championed significant reforms. Their bold decisions, often met with resistance, have transformed their nation's landscapes socially, economically, and politically. These leaders have dared to challenge the status quo, to envision a better future, and to turn that vision into reality. Then, there are leaders who have prioritized peace and stability, investing in diplomacy and international cooperation. Their efforts have not only ensured the well-being of their nations, but have also contributed to global peace and stability. Such leaders have shown us that the path to prosperity often lies in collaboration, not confrontation. Of course, the legacies of political leaders aren't always positive. Some leaders, swayed by personal ambition or blinded by ideology, have led their nations down paths of conflict and hardship. These examples serve as stark reminders of the immense power and responsibility that comes with political leadership. The impact of political leadership is also evident in the response to global challenges. The way leaders react to such crises, whether it's a pandemic, a natural disaster, or a global economic recession, shapes the resilience and adaptive capacity of their nations. In essence, the footprints of political leaders are deeply etched in the sands of their nation's history. Their decisions, their policies, their actions all shape the trajectory of their nations, influencing not just the present, but also the future. Indeed, the footprints of political leaders are etched deeply in the sands of their nation's history. Navigating the complex world of international relations is a crucial aspect of political leadership. When a leader steps onto the global stage, they're entering a veritable chess game of diplomacy. They're faced with an array of challenges, from managing delicate relationships with allies and adversaries alike, to negotiating international treaties that protect their nation's interests. But it's not just about handling crises or preventing conflicts. Diplomacy also involves forming strategic alliances, fostering relationships that can open doors for trade, aid, and mutual support. It's about engaging in global cooperation, working hand in hand with other nations to address shared challenges, be it climate change, global health crises, or matters of security. And these diplomatic endeavors, they're not just abstract political maneuvers. They directly influence a nation's development trajectory, shaping its economic prospects, its societal progress, even its cultural identity. So when we talk about the development of a country, it's clear that diplomatic savvy plays a pivotal role in shaping a nation's fortunes. The prosperity of a nation often hinges on the economic strategies of its leaders. Indeed, the economic policies employed by political leaders play a pivotal role in fostering growth, shaping the trajectory of a nation's development. These policies can range from tax reforms and regulatory changes to strategic investments in infrastructure and education. By effectively managing a nation's resources, leaders can stimulate economic activity and create an environment conducive to growth. Take, for instance, the leaders who have championed free trade policies. By reducing tariffs and trade barriers, they have expanded markets for their nation's goods and services, boosting domestic industries and fostering economic dynamism. Such strategies have not only increased the wealth of their nations, but also raised their prominence on the global stage. Then there are the leaders who have prioritized investment in human capital. Recognizing that a well-educated, skilled workforce is the backbone of a thriving economy, these leaders have allocated significant resources to education and vocational training. This investment in human capital has paid dividends in the form of increased productivity, innovation, and economic competitiveness. Other leaders have focused on regulatory reforms to foster a business-friendly environment. By streamlining bureaucracy, easing regulatory burdens, and strengthening property rights, these leaders have attracted both domestic and foreign investments. These investments, in turn, have spurred economic growth and job creation, contributing to the overall prosperity of their nations. Yet, not all economic strategies have been successful. Some leaders have pursued policies that, while well-intentioned, have led to economic instability or stagnation. Such missteps underscore the importance of sound economic management and the potential consequences of policy missteps. But despite these challenges, the potential rewards of effective economic leadership are immense. Nations led by leaders with a clear economic vision and the political will to implement it have witnessed remarkable transformations, moving from poverty to prosperity within a generation. Thus, economic strategies of political leaders can significantly influence a nation's place in the world economy. When crisis strikes, the mettle of a nation's leadership is truly tested. In these critical moments, the decisions and actions of political leaders can significantly shape the trajectory of their country. Whether it's a financial crash, a natural disaster, or a global pandemic, leaders must make swift, informed decisions to mitigate the impact and guide their nation towards recovery. The effectiveness of a leader's crisis management strategy often hinges on their ability to adapt and innovate under pressure. From implementing emergency policies to mobilizing resources and rallying public support, leaders must navigate complex challenges to safeguard their nation's well-being. In addition, the manner in which a leader communicates during a crisis can profoundly influence their nation's resilience. Clear, empathetic communication can foster unity and trust, empowering citizens to navigate adversity with fortitude. Ultimately, crisis management is a defining aspect of political leadership. It's a test of a leader's ability to make tough decisions, inspire confidence, and adapt to changing circumstances. In the face of adversity, effective leadership can steer a nation towards resilience and recovery. In an interconnected world, global collaboration is key to addressing shared challenges. Indeed, political leadership plays a pivotal role in fostering these collaborations. Let's take a look at some instances where political leaders have worked together effectively to promote collective development. In the late 20th century, the world witnessed the establishment of the European Union, a unique political and economic union of 27 member countries. This significant collaboration was driven by visionary political leaders who aimed to prevent another devastating war in Europe. Fast forward a few decades, we see the Paris Agreement, a global accord to combat climate change. This monumental agreement was the result of tireless negotiations and compromises among political leaders from nearly 200 countries, showcasing their shared commitment to safeguarding our planet. These examples highlight the potential of political leadership in driving global collaborations. Through such collaborations, leaders can address shared challenges, from economic crises to climate change, and promote collective progress. Through global collaboration, political leaders can drive collective progress and shared prosperity. Innovation in policymaking can be a catalyst for positive change. It's a tool that political leaders can wield, shaping the future of their nations. We've seen leaders who have dared to break free from the traditional molds of governance, and through their innovative policies and reforms, they have sparked positive changes across various sectors. Take, for instance, those leaders who have embraced digital technology in their policymaking process. Their forward-thinking approach has not only streamlined bureaucratic procedures, but also enabled a more transparent and participatory form of governance. Then, there are those who have implemented novel economic strategies, reforms that have revitalized stagnant economies and fostered growth and prosperity. In the realm of social policies, we've seen leaders who have championed innovative reforms, tackling deep-seated societal issues and fostering inclusivity and equality. These examples underscore that innovation isn't just about technology or business. It's about thinking differently, about challenging the status quo. Forward-thinking governance can indeed usher in a new era of advancement. Political leadership also leaves an imprint on a nation's cultural identity. This influence is often wielded through the use of soft power, a term coined by Joseph Nye, which refers to a nation's ability to shape the world through attraction and persuasion rather than coercion or force. Cultural diplomacy, an aspect of soft power, is a potent tool in a leader's arsenal. It involves promoting a nation's culture in a way that enhances its global image, fostering mutual understanding and forging stronger bonds with other nations. For example, consider leaders who have championed the arts, language, and traditions of their homeland on the international stage, thereby infusing their nation's unique cultural identity into the global fabric. Moreover, political leaders can strategically use cultural diplomacy to advance their national interests and values, aligning the world's perception of their country with their vision. Thus, political leadership can shape not just a nation's fortunes but also its cultural identity. Political leadership is not static, it evolves over time. As societies change and new challenges emerge, leadership styles and ideologies must adapt. Each era brings a different breed of leaders, individuals who shape their nation's destinies with their unique visions and strategies. Consider the shift from autocratic leadership to democratic governance. This transition has often led to more inclusive decision-making processes, enabling a broader spectrum of societal interests to be reflected in national policies. Such shifts in leadership style can have profound implications for a nation's development trajectory. Or think about the rise of leaders who champion sustainability. Their commitment to environmental stewardship has led to policies promoting renewable energy and sustainable practices, contributing to a greener and more sustainable future. In the dynamic landscape of world politics, the evolution of political leadership can redefine a nation's path to development. Indeed, the Leadership Continuum is a fascinating study of change, adaptation, and progress.